All right. Hello, hello. Make sure this microphone is working. Hello, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. How's everybody doing? What day is it? It's Tuesday, March 15th. We're back for our weekly Q&A session. My light decided to not be very bright for whatever reason, but hopefully you can see me. I know we're a little bit early today, but hope everyone's having a nice week. On break from UNT this week, we have our spring break. What's up, Carl? What's up, Rodney? What's up, Mr. Mandalorian? Colin, thanks for joining. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. But I want to get started today talking a little bit about some very, in my mind at least, important and fun things coming up. And that would be two things. One is I have a new book coming out. And that is going to be in April 5th. It's called Create, Connect, Repeat. And if you've been looking at my socials the last couple of weeks, you've seen a lot about that. So April 5th, that's coming out. And then tomorrow, I am headed to New York to play this giant stack of music. I got new albums worth of music coming for the sextet. So we're going to be sight reading, rehearsing, workshopping some of that music tomorrow, which is exciting. Not that it's open to the public or anything like that, but it's exciting to have a new project, some new music to be working on. And then after that, you may have seen is that the last couple of years I've had the pleasure to host an online trombone event, and that's called Jazz Trombone Bootcamp. And we're going to be back with Jazz Trombone Bootcamp for 2022. And I've got two of the guest artists lined up already, and I'm excited to. I'm not going to announce those yet, but if you are on YouTube or Facebook, you can see the links down below. You can grab those. You can go to the website to register for Jazz Trombone Bootcamp. It's going to be week of June 13th, 2022. So that should be really a fun week. It's going to involve myself. I've got two great teaching assistants for the week, and that is Jack Courtwright and DJ Rice, two of our master students from the University of North Texas. So I'm excited to be able to host them, have them as part of the week. And so every day we'll be talking through some warm-up stuff, some trombone technique stuff. We'll be checking out a few artists during our lunch and listen session, listening to some music, and then also having our great guest artists. Every day we'll have a guest artist coming in to speak with us. Some great partners, some great companies to partner with that'll also be involved. All that stuff is coming up in the announcements that are coming, but early bird pricing on the boot camp will end as soon as those announcements come up. So if you want to get in on the camp, the ground floor, then I highly recommend jumping on that now. Jazz Trombone Bootcamp, just go to nickfinzer.store and you can sign up for that. We're excited about that, and really, really top-notch guests this year. Just like every year so far, I've been really, really fortunate to be able to have amazing guests each year. But big one this year, big influence on me. That's going to be able to be a part of it this year, so I'm excited about that. I'll let you, put in your best guesses. But we'll be announcing that in a couple of weeks once we get the full schedule kind of tied up there. But feel free to drop in any of your questions here. I'll do just a quick Q&A today. I've got some other things to also do today, but leave them there. I saw one question saying, are you going to tape your parts for the rehearsal tomorrow? Absolutely. I will be taping the parts. I've got a long evening of taping ahead of me to get those charts together. But always tape your parts. Always tape your parts, especially when you're reading. You want to make it as easy as possible for your band or the musicians or the school ensemble or whatever it might be to be able to read it without having too much trouble. The clearer you can be in the way that you lay out your music, the easier it is for other people to interpret your music. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take the time to lay it out well and definitely tape it. I even got printed on nice paper. Obviously you can't see it through the live stream, but it's on nice paper. I've been putting stuff on like cardstock And I got some nice folders, but they're in my office, which is not here. And yeah, so all very exciting things coming up. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, the Create, Connect, Repeat book I'm excited about that, and we'll be doing some more Q&As specifically about music business and marketing coming up, but I won't bore you with all those things until it's premeditated that I will be doing that during the live stream, so people know what they're signing up for by showing up to the live stream. Oh, I see Taylor is here. Ubuntu 33, hello. Shiori, hello. Jay, hello. Steven, Alan, Joe Giordano, what's up, man? Dominic, Mr. Mandalorian, Rodney, Carl, good to see you all. Late to the party again. No, you're good. We'll be here for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. Answering questions, talking about jazz and trombone, and always an introduction. You got it. What's up, Dandrick? Joining. So anyway, feel free to drop in those questions. We're here every Tuesday to talk all things jazz, trombone, music marketing, all those type of things. But yeah, I'm really excited about the Jazz Trombone Bootcamp, and I hope you'll be able to join. It's for all ages, we had everything from college professors to adults that want to get back into playing that maybe haven't played in a while, and we had high school students and middle school students. It's a whole range. It's kind of a choose your own adventure type situation. It's definitely going to be a working week. It's not going to just sit around and chill. We're going to be playing, we're going to be practicing, we're going to be talking, learning things together. I'm going to incorporate some like trading sessions, so I'll send out some tunes to learn in advance so we can talk about that and do some trading. Trying to just build on each year, make each year better and better and better. So if you're on here and you're thinking about you might want to come, you should let me know who are the guests that you want to see. I know who I want to see, the guests for the boot camp, and I know who I have in mind, but I'd love to hear who you all think would be great guests for the boot camp. And I'm trying to not repeat anybody. So if you go on my website, nickfinzermusic.com/teaching, or just go there and click learn, you can see all the people that we've had so far. We've had a ton of great artists. Like, let's see if I can remember everybody. I'll probably forget some, but we had Vincent Gardner, we had Steve Davis, we had Michael Davis, we had who else did we have? Andre Hayward. And the year before that, we had James Burton, we had Marshall Jilks, we had Ryan Keberly, and we had, who else did we have? Michael Deese the first year. So we've had really, really great guests the whole time, and Elliot Mason was on there as well. Some really great trombonists in that first year and the second year. So anyway, we're going to keep moving forward with that. I hope you can join us. What's up, Alton? How are you doing, Alton? All right, here's a question. I still can't get these questions up on the screen. I don't know what I did wrong here. But there's a question from Taylor. Thanks. Taylor's source of many great questions. In your practice now, what is one bad habit you've noticed you do constantly that you want to fix immediately? That's a good question. Whoa, he's got two in here now. A bad habit that I have in my practice is not staying focused on the task at hand and being complacent. Being complacent. I was just thinking about it last night. Just like, man, I haven't really dug into like something specific. It's always been like, oh, I need to prep for this, I need to prep for this, I need to prep for this, gig to gig to gig, project to project to project, without like a bigger picture in mind. So that's something that I've been thinking about, is really digging in and fixing, developing some like technical limitations on the instrument. Maybe not limitations, but just like ceiling, like pushing the ceiling higher. because there's plenty of stuff that I just maybe brushed over or I haven't gotten better at since college, And so yeah, that's one thing. Why do musicians think in the grand scheme of things that social media remains a tool for getting discovered? Why do musicians think in the grand scheme of things that social media remains a tool for getting discovered? Well, because social media can kind of encompass a lot of things. Depends, I suppose, on your definition of it. The purpose to me to having an active social media account is indeed to develop an audience. And where are there people that are looking for things to consume, but on social media? So that could mean many things. That could be, long form content and podcasts. That could be long form videos. That could be short form TikToks or Instagram Reels or medium 1 minute Instagram videos. There is an audience to be found on social media. However, it does not take the place of real life, and it does not take the place of networking with musicians, playing gigs, getting your music out there, playing in front of people and developing what that looks like. I think that it's going to be a both and situation for the foreseeable future. I don't think it's just one platform or one thing. And I don't necessarily think it's about quote unquote being discovered, but it is a platform for discovery. It's up to you to do something that's going to draw people's attention. And if you want to continue and do things that are just for attention, that's one way to do it. Or you can take an approach where you're going to, share your music and document your journey, and then you may not get as many followers right away, but you will develop a relationship with an audience that is a little bit more long lasting, I think. And so things will continue to change, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, YouTube has had longevity, we'll see about other platforms. And it depends on what you want to create and what connects with your audience. So you kind of have to test and see what happens. But I think the reason that musicians think that it's a place to be discovered is because they have discovered other musicians there. But it's both. You can't rely on one or the other, meaning real life or online. You got to do both. You have to get out there. You have to be in a place where you can actually, interact with musicians and challenge yourself. So, what's up, Chris? What's up, Ariel? Grat, Kenji, John. Hope everybody's having a nice Tuesday afternoon. I know we're a little earlier than usual today, but thanks for tuning in. Let's see, I saw a couple more questions here. Let's see. What was the most unbelievable thing you learned that used more than enough mental thinking to create a new perspective on music? Let me read that one more time. What was the most unbelievable thing you learned that used more than enough mental thinking to create a new perspective on music? That's an interesting question, Taylor. What has created a new mental perspective on music? I would say the things most recently that have had an effect on my perspective on music have had nothing to do with music, but have more to do with how just consumer behavior at large, or just kind of like, okay, the things that I thought would happen, or things that I thought existed maybe don't exist, which has affected me more, like an idea of something existing that was a powerful idea in terms of chasing a goal or some specific gig or something like that, and then realizing that perhaps that thing was not real. That I think that has informed my musical thinking more than in other times in my life. Here's another question from Ariel. How do you conceptualize putting a story together for an album, and how do you implement that into promoting the album or shows? Well, I've done that in different ways for different projects. the more projects I've done, the more, and the more projects I release, and the more things that I see through the label, more things that I see that are successful or unsuccessful have to do with that story. And that story can be about the album itself and the music. It could be a through line. And I think that's a particular type of music that is most interesting to musicians, telling like a musical story through, themes and kind of in an operatic way, thinking about, or maybe not opera, or like film music or something like that, telling the story with the music itself, building characters and things like that. And I think that's kind of a nerdy thing, it's interesting to musicians, and kind of the technical side of it. But more importantly for an album or promoting a band or shows is the story that you tell about the music and how you relate to the music and how people can relate to the music. So whether or not it exists when you write the music is kind of irrelevant. Like when you have a collection of tunes, you have to answer the question, like, why should anyone care? Like, why should anyone care about this collection of tunes? What is it about these tunes? Just because they're your favorite tunes doesn't really tell us a story of why. What is it that only you can do with these pieces that make it unique? Otherwise, why should we care? Why? That's the question to ask and the question to answer to start developing that story. Like Ariel asked about cast of characters, and so that was one where I maybe shot too high in terms of the concept, in that I wanted it to be about archetypes of people, and they could put their own story to those archetypes or those people or those types of people, like those mentors or those heroes or those family members, or like just different people that come in and out of your life, So I think that, that was my intention, but it didn't necessarily translate as clearly as I had wanted to. And, that's on me to not have clearly articulated it in the first place to begin with, But it's interesting. And so anyway, as we move forward with more and different records, you try to think about those stories and what stories can be told. And sometimes the story is just about you, sometimes the story is about the music, sometimes it's both. I don't know I didn't know that I accidentally quoted Pat Metheny, but I'm sure I believe Taylor that I did by accident. Well, thank you. Kevin said it's a fine album. Thank you. I appreciate it. I guess I've meant fine in the way of that I thought more people would get the story, putting their own storyline to the music, because I really wasn't sure how to explain it very well. But I appreciate that. Thank you for listening. Hey Nick, how do you hedge against losing your audience if a social media platform disappears? You get their email addresses and have a newsletter, and you have a website that you control. And this is something I talk to our artists about all the time. Is you have to have a corner of the internet that is your own, because any of these things could disappear at any time. But your website is yours. The information you collect from your fans is between you and them. If that's emails, if that's phone numbers. Some people want to do text threads. Some people want to do emails, whatever your audience is comfortable with sharing with you, but that's your relationship directly with your audience. So that's the thing you want to build up and protect, is that direct relationship, because these platforms will 100% change. Instagram will disappear at some point, or morph more than it has, or TikTok or whatever, that's a guarantee that there will be something else. But if you have that contact info, that's how you hedge against it. And that's why you have a website, even though people say, oh, having a website isn't important, you can just have social media. Well, yeah, you can, but then when they disappear, you realize how reliant you were on those platforms. All right, I just got a couple minutes here before I have to wrap up today, but I appreciate everybody jumping in with some really great questions here. Will disappear, will be less relevant. What's the difference? where or how did you learn what you know on piano? Through necessity mostly, but needing to. I've always had a studio of students even since college, and so it started with just learning to accompany them on a blues or something simple, rhythm changes, and then learning tunes, and then jazz piano class in college and in grad school, and then just wanting to be able to compose music. So I would spend some time trying to get a little bit better at the piano, time and time again. And so just focusing on that arranger's piano, the functional piano, not trying to be, not trying to play gigs or anything like that. But just having that baseline of piano skills, super important. I haven't met too many great trombone improvisers that don't have some amount of basic piano fluency to just, get through some tunes, play through some chord changes. Just play some harmonies, roots, thirds and sevenths, check out that voice leading and just kind of go from there is what I would suggest. All right, well, I got to run for today, but I appreciate everyone coming by. We'll be back next week. Will we? No, I won't. No, I won't be able to do one next week. But I appreciate everybody being here for a little quick Q&A this afternoon. Check out the Jazz Trombone Bootcamp. I hope you can join if you want to hang out and talk about jazz trombone this summer, June 13 through 17, and also April 5th. New book, Create, Connect, Repeat, is coming. Can't wait to share. So thanks for being here, guys. Have a great week, and we'll catch you all soon.